Then Puff was like, yeah, like first he was amping him to get stopped. Then he was like, yo, so when we gonna get the chance to, to kick it, like we can just hang out. We gotta kick it. Puff. Okay. He telling me we gotta kick it and shit. He's like, yo, why don't we like go shopping or some shit? I mean, like I pay for it. And I was like, this just saying.
I asked 50 about that. And he said you did the same thing to him. You asked him to take him shopping.
Yeah. I thought he needed some clothes. What? I'm a nice guy.
Yo, why are you and 50?
Hey, yo.
Why y'all not?
Hey, yo, I don't have no beef with
I don't know why.
With Fifth. He loves me.
They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs. More than 1,000 bottles altogether.
So tell us what's going on with this. We understand rapper 50 Cent has been shopping this around.
And you know what? I think a lot of people thought that 50 was just trolling. And
No, this optional today, I didn't talk to her.
No. Is Diddy going to go to jail? What do you think?
I think he's in trouble.
Can't wait. I can't wait for everybody to find out what's.
The feud between Diddy and 50 Cent has escalated to a boiling point. What initially started as playful jabs has now turned into an all-out public battle. The tension erupted when 50 Cent roasted Diddy during a court-related controversy. Known for his sharp wit and unapologetic humor, 50 didn't hesitate to take shots at Diddy in ways that left fans shocked. However, Diddy, never one to back down, responded in a manner that sent shock with through the entertainment world.
Just like Mount Vernon, New York City, Mount Vernon, and Miami, all that is the same, bro. Nobody wants to be near him. Nobody wants to touch what he touched, be where he at. You understand? It's crazy, bro, how his fall from grace, which was never from grace, it's just like the devil just kicked him out of hell, because he was never in nothing graceful and did anything graceful. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you say about, okay, he did the music, he had the bad boy legacy and everything like that, man. But, a few albums, a few people, made to be famous, but they not here to tell their story. Black Rob, Biggie, Craig Mack. They not here to tell their story, bro. And now you got everybody telling his story.
Yeah, and I know 50, he did a recent interview with US Weekly saying that the reason why rappers are quiet about, Diddy's situation is because they been to his parties and they don't know what got caught on tape.
Bro, those people who was caught at Diddy's party did not know that he had 250 tape recorders in that house. That's a big house. But he had 250 tape recorders in that house that they took, that the feds found. So now with them finding all that and you being at a Diddy party, you may have done something that was caught on one of those tapes. You just better pray to God that they don't recognize you. Those people who know that they did something, no, they're not going to speak out. They're not going to say nothing. What part of the game is that? They are not going to come forward and tell on themselves. Nah, not at all. Ice Cube, he said it himself, bro. He said that Diddy's been targeted because of what he said about those folks and those people. Now, the people who was on those tapes may feel like Diddy might be targeting them. Because if he's asked about who is this, who is that, and he's under oath with the federal government, he got to tell them. He's not going to plead the fifth.
Yeah, I know that got to be a terrible feeling, man. You know you did something wrong at Diddy party, and you hoping and praying that it's not caught on tape.
But they don't think they did nothing wrong. That's their lifestyle. That's their lifestyle, bro. I ask guys all the time, if two men lay down, how many homos get up? What you mean? I mean what I mean.
It's 50 Cent has earned a reputation as one of the most fearless and relentless trolls in the entertainment industry, and his roast of Diddy was no exception. With no holds barred, 50 went all out to ridicule his rival's legal troubles, while the drama was serious. 50 transformed it into a spectacle, cracking jokes that quickly went viral. The big question on everyone's mind was clear: how would he react to such public humiliation?
And where do we even begin? He has been named in 6 lawsuits. 4 of those filed so far are male accusers. And I was reading the details on the TMZ website, and wow, it's really graphic.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, Shannon, and I'll be careful explaining these things. But he's facing so many. I mean, it seems like an endless amount of fights on an endless amount of fronts right now. And these are civil lawsuits, obviously, so these are not criminal charges. But he's sitting in a jail cell in Brooklyn right now on criminal charges and facing life in prison if convicted. These lawsuits are from an attorney named Tony Busby. He's been involved in a lot of big cases in the past: Deshaun Watson, Chris Brown, Travis Scott. So he knows his way around a big case. He represents these 4 men and men now, but in one case, a 16-year-old boy who says in 1998, when he was a teenager, he went to a Diddy, a white party. He was invited. He found himself in an occasion to be alone with Diddy, he says, and he claims that Diddy basically, made him drop his pants and Diddy touched him and essentially called it a rite of passage to become a star in the music industry. And then it just seemingly gets worse from there. I mean, allegations of sexual assault, ranging from 1998 to October of 2021. And these men, in many cases have a similar story. One guy says, hey, 2008, I find myself, he said I worked for Echo, the clothing line, and Diddy had Sean John, and he said we were at the Macy's stockroom, the flagship store in Manhattan. And he says, that he was pistol whipped by somebody who was with Diddy, and then that he was sexually assaulted and raped. And, it's really, really ugly stuff. Diddy, for his part, last night came out, Shannon, and said, I never sexually assaulted anybody, man or woman, child or adult, but either he's the most targeted person in the world, or perhaps there's something to these allegations. He hasn't been convicted of anything at this point, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. We know that there could be more victims on the way. That you mentioned Texas attorney.
I think there will be.
Yeah, Tony Busby, who says there will be more, of course, as you mentioned.
Diddy's response came quickly, and when it did, it was explosive. In a fiery video posted on social media, did he directly address 50 Cent, calling out what he referred to as cheap shorts and clown behavior. He didn't hold back, reminding 50 that their feud wasn't just about jokes. It was personal. Fans were left divided, with some applauding Diddy for standing his ground, while others encouraged 50 Cent to escalate the feud even further.
You kind of knew 50 Cent before he blew up.
Yeah.
What was that like?
50 was the type of dude that kept like a little, he kept like a little pad with him. And he wrote everything down. You understand? Me and him caught the plane. We was going to Vegas. And I gave him my card. My business card was savoir-faire, security, management, and everywhere. You know what I mean? So 50 did a song about that. You know what I'm saying? And he put that in the song. And some years ago, about a year or so ago, not even a year or so ago, he said that when he dropped my name, he said, yo, I got the savoir-faire. I got that from Big Gene. He been trying to tell y'all about this Puff shit years ago. But 50 was the type of dude that if you knew he was with you, he was with you. Even back then, he had your back whether you was security or whatever you did. If he was with you, he was with you. And that's what you got to love about him. You know what I mean? You ain't got to question his loyalty, you know what I'm saying, on some fight shit or if you in a situation. Because he going out.
Well, I guess you were hanging around him or knew him, right before he got shot.
Well, what happened is that I had got some information. 50 came to my house. I tried to fit him on a vest, but I'm like, at the time I was like a 3X. And 50 was like a large. You know what I'm saying? So he couldn't really fit the vest. But I gave him a cover to try to tell him, because he had some pads, some vest pads. So I just told him what the situation was that I knew. And told him he had to watch himself because those cats was going to come at him. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yeah. And he was supposed to be going to Cancun. And I told him, if you come to Cancun, I got you, because I used to be down there doing security at Daddy-O's. You understand? And I had people down there that I knew that was from Puerto Rico, and they was working down there. So they should make sure when I hit the island, anything and everything I needed, I could get it right there on the island. You understand? They work directly with the syndicate. So 50 was supposed to come down there to do a show, and he didn't make it because they had shot him up. I don't know if he was coming in the first place, but he was supposed to, because he was paid half the money to come down there to perform How to Rob an Industry Cat.
And when was the next time you seen him after that?
The next time I seen 50 after that was at Jack the Rapper. He had blew up. Man. He was like, he was this dude and everything like that. And I was sitting we was in Puerto Rico, and I was sitting by myself, just chilling, and he had his whole entourage with him. He came directly over to me. He like, yo, Gene. I was like, yo, what up, Fifth? I said, what up, 50? He said, what's up, man? He said, yo, put his hand out to me, and he grabbed my, he said, yo, they can't stop what God got planned. Went on about his business. And then he blew up crazy.
Diddy revealed that he was especially upset by 50's comment because they targeted sensitive personal and legal issues, while Diddy has always been a master at controlling his public image. 50's ruse stripped away the usual veneer of untouchability that surrounded him. For Diddy, this wasn't just about his reputation, it was about respect, and when respect is on the line, Diddy plays to win.
So hard at Diddy with the documentaries, and what did he do to 50 that made him hate him so much, man? That's crazy.
Well, I think it's just, you got to look at it like this. 50 was writing a lot of shit that made a lot of money for Diddy. And he knew back then in the day, he didn't know what he know now, but Diddy was robbing him. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Bringing those kids in and say, yo, here, write this verse for me, man, for this, stuff like that. And giving them $5,000, you understand? Or $10,000, and you making $100,000 or $200,000 or maybe $2 million off of it, or $1 million, whatever the case may be. See, people call that good business. That's not good business. That's taking a person's talent, using it for your own self-indulgence, and not giving him what it's worth. When you could have been teaching these kids, you could have been helping these kids, and maybe these kids would have been helping you at the point you are right now. So, if that's the case, he have every right. But 50 is doing this for the culture. You understand? If it's going to be told, he's going to have it, and it's going to be told the right way.
Yeah, man. And 50, he go hard on Diddy, man. It's constant on his Instagram. It's kind of, it's pretty entertaining to see him be so passionate about his hate for Diddy.
Listen, how many of your enemies you love?
50 Cent doubled down on his antics, taking to Instagram to share memes mocking Did. His reaction. One post in particular featured a parody of Did's iconic Cyro ads, with 50 turning the luxury brand into a punchline. Fans couldn't get enough, spreading the memes far and wide, while Diddy was reportedly seething behind the scenes about none of.
Boys, he don't give a fuck about Louisiana. Because I tell you one thing, the second that Curtis got down there, right before me and my son were separated from each other, we went home for a visit. And the fishing hole that we went to, where fish are normally jumping, all of a sudden died. There was nothing out there. You could smell the poison in the water, which of course would irrigation, which of course would bring storms around. You know, you gotta like multimillionaires when they start creating tragedies to pretend to be heroes for. Why did Curtis Jackson lie to everybody? Why doesn't Curtis Jackson tell people that he has a house in Carrollton, and he's had a house in Carrollton for over 7 years? That he comes down here, getting a lay of the land, hiring private investigators to follow people around. Why didn't he tell anybody that Millennium Studios, which is now G-Unit Studios, was already there? Why is he pretending like he built it from the ground up? He didn't. He bought it. I know Millennium. I used to go there all the time.
It did exist.
Yeah, I know. So why did he lie to everybody? Why did he tell everybody his studio was going to be in Texas? Why did he keep it so quiet? Why did nobody in Shreveport know that he was making such a large acquisition? There would have to be some kind of paperwork there. It's almost as if that sale happened overnight. Not even anyone in the clerk's office knew about it. And I would know. I know the clerk. That's my town.
Yeah, you be in Shreveport.
Those are my people.
Yeah.
What is it with all of these pretenders? And now they got an even bigger one named Curtis Jackson. They should check the EPA report since he's been there and the toxic waste he's been allowing to be dumped around the property of Millennium Studios for cheap cash. And I'm not saying allegedly, Curtis. I know what you've been doing. You don't get no about what happens to those people in that town, but I do. I love the people in that town. I just wonder how you like that man I sent you. Because he really didn't think you was going to go for him. You, Curtis, you better do right by Shreveport, or I'm going to let everybody know that Diddy doo-wop bop ain't the only taste you got.
So, just to switch gears.
Curtis, I'm sick and tired of him. I'd have more respect for him if he came out the closet.
It seems like...
Because he's a lot more Bogart than Brooklyn.
It seems like 50 Cent is trying to take down Diddy.
No, he's trying to move Diddy and Jay-Z out the way so he can run it. And the truth is, I ain't mad at him. I just don't trust him. Because the truth is, he would just be another kind of monster in another kind of way. He don't want things to change. He just want to be the one that's running it. See? Easiest thing to do is to take your enemy's feet and hold them to the fire for things you know that they won't admit. Which is why when that C&D came out, he took all of that Diddy shit down. Because of his tape. Say. I just wish, listen to me, make you no mistake about it. 50 is pure hip hop, pure MC. And he'll, just like Mike Tyson. Does every time Mike Tyson stuck his makes him any less the killer that he is in the ring? See, and I think that's the problem that people don't understand when it comes to this hypersexuality in hip hop and masculinity. A lot of people don't realize a lot of the archetypes and everything that they built on are built around Roman soldiers, Greek soldiers who used butt breaking as a way to trauma bond with each other so that they would kill for each other on the field. You got to think about it. Real soldiers back in those days, they didn't spend a lot of time around women. Women were something that happened or something that you did to have babies with. But most of your time was spent with the men in the field. Y'all saw the movie Day.
Did his retaliation was as strategic as it was scathing in a series of posts. He addressed not only 50 Cent, but also the entire culture of public trolling that 50 embodies. Did he accused 50 of tearing others down to maintain relevance, suggesting that his rival's constant need for attention stemmed from insecurity. The move was classic Diddy, calculated, shop, and dripping with the kind of confidence only a mogul could exude.
Hey, you called it, man. A few weeks ago, you was on the platform and you said that he was going to get arrested in September.
Yeah, man. Anybody who in law enforcement or people know the law, when Homeland Security ran up into his house, people will tell you, or people knew that it was just a matter of time that they was going to indict him and bring him in, to see the judge, bro. It was just a matter of time. I just figured out with the grand jury and their different sessions and stuff like that. And then what, one of the, witnesses told me, I just figured it out that it was going to be around September that they were going to bring him in, bro. People might not understand. It's difficult when you see a brother that has so much promise become an icon as far as in the music business and stuff that he did, to turn around and, just tear his whole life down. But it's all because of his mentors and the people that trained him and taught him the music business. You know, it's all about the people who trained and taught him the music business, because Puff wasn't, he wasn't born a monster. You know what I'm saying? He was made into a monster, brother. Do you understand what I'm saying? He was made into a monster from the stuff that happened to him, the things that he had to do. You understand? The things that he had to do to become who he is. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like this, brother. You never like something so much that you can't do without, and you never be willing to do anything to get where you want to be at. You got to have principles. You got to have morals. You got to keep with that stuff. And in that music business, a lot of that stuff get thrown out the window. You understand? And that's what happened to him. He started doing the things to other people that was done to him. To keep it frank, he was doing the things to other people that was done to him. And it is what it is. You got to know better. And if you know better...
The beef between Diddy and 50 Cent took another turn when mutual friends began weighing in. Several high-profile figures in the entertainment industry caught in the crossfire attempted to play peacemakers, but their efforts only seemed to escalate the tension. Both Diddy and 50, known for their stubbornness, refused to back down, with each trading increasingly harsh blows online.
He was like that gecko from the Geico commercial. Then he turned and started going, when he lived in Cali and Miami, he turned into Godzilla. I would see him talk about how he using drugs. He was never like that. Smoking cigarettes, smoking weed and everything like that. He turned into something that you could consider a monster, bruh. Then he started doing things to people, you understand, that he learned. That's a learned behavior, bruh. Now, I'm not saying that he may have been doing a couple of things here and there with women, stuff like that in New York, but the things that they're talking about that he was doing, bringing in prostitutes to have sex with his girl and all that stuff like that, that was some crazy stuff to me, man. So I'm just looking at this whole thing, man, and you had asked me, and we don't have these conversations like most people do. We're going to go back and you're going to tell me what, we're going to talk about this. You said, I'm going to ask you how you feel, bro. I don't want no man to ever go to jail and be leaving their kids behind, be leaving their family behind. You understand? But Some dudes belong in jail based on what they do and how they do it. We know that to be true. And it's just this situation, man. When they get down to all the facts and all what happened, he may belong in jail, bruh. And that's not my doing. That's not Cassie doing. That's his doing and his learned behavior.
At the heart of the feud lies a deeper rivalry that has lasted for years. Diddy and 50 Cent have clashed multiple times over business ventures, music, and even personal relationships. This latest round of drama isn't just about a courtroom rose, it's the result of years of simmering tension finally boiling over. Meanwhile, fans are loving every moment, eagerly waiting the next chapter in this epic showdown.
He learned from Andre Harrell. He learned from Russell Simmons. He learned from Clyde Davis. You understand? When those people are telling you that they were heavy into the drugs, they was heavy into beating women and doing things at that age, at that crazy stage, that's going to make him think that he could get away with the same thing that they was getting away with back then. You understand? The things that he was saying, you know, the touchy-feely between two men and all that stuff like that, man. All that he learned that from them dudes. When I told y'all the story, when me and my man went up to Russell Simmons and he had a house and he had a man in bikini drawers in his bedroom, in his bed. You understand? Bruh, this is that he learned. I'm assuming he learned it from them. Let me put that. And I'm not going to say alleged because I saw that for my own self. My man was with me. Slick was with me, and we saw that for our own self. You understand what I'm saying? So these are behaviors and things that with drugs and all the stuff that's going on, pills, drinking, it can make this man into a monster, and that's what it did, bro.
Bro's social media has become the battlefield for this war of words, with both Diddy and 50 Cent using their platforms to rally their respective fan bases, while Did's approach leans towards sharp critiques and powerful comebacks. 50's style is all about humor and relentless trolling. The contrast in their strategies has only made the feud more fascinating.
Because no company wants to do business with somebody who is being accused, have allegations against them for sexual misconduct and deviant behavior. Nobody wants to do business with that. All the shareholders, it ain't nothing that he's giving up. They like, yo, listen, give me that. They said, they did a Diddy. Take that. You understand? They're going to take that from him. The shareholders is going to say, yo, listen to me. We all going to pull out. No Diddy. But we all going to pull out our shares and everything if you don't give up what you have in the company.
Did you see that video that went viral of Diddy pacing around the airport after his houses got raided?
I seen that video. And I seen that look in his face before. I seen that look in his face. You understand? When he was with the same gang and Mike Owens, aka Mike Cock, everybody could tell it. D. Ferg did a collection for him because he didn't know how he was going to pay his rent, and he didn't know how he was going to pay his rent, child support, and his car note, because he had one of those drop top cabarets Volkswagens. So Mike gave $5,000. I wasn't giving him nothing. I'm just telling you right now. D was just collecting money for niggas. You know what I'm saying? Yo, man, we got to make sure, because he want to kill himself. He gonna kill himself. Diddy had that pace, and he had that look in his face that he know something may be wrong, or they may have something on him. Because they took things out of there. We may not have seen what they took, but they had bags and boxes of stuff that they took out of there. So he knows. He's getting a play-by-play of what's going on. And even back then, doing that City College, when he was fired from Uptown Records. He was making statements about doing himself. He had that same look in his face.
Yeah, he looked worried, man. I'm not gonna lie. For a split second, man, I felt bad for him. For a split second, but yeah.
Like everybody, I get all kind of hate mail, IGs talking about that I'm trying to take a black man down. No. I went through every step you supposed to go through when you got a problem, you got a situation, you got an issue with a man. You understand? I get in contact with him. Went mutual friends. Let's sit down and talk. What you did to Wolf's mother wasn't right, bruh. You don't talk to her like that. If Wolf was alive, he'd take your head off. You understand? Try to talk to him. People, when they start getting in this power, certain positions, have certain amount of money, they don't look back. Some of them don't look back and don't think they have to come back to the people that helped them get to those positions. You understand? I don't care what nobody say. You understand? If somebody helps you and use their ability and their talents to help you get in position and get to certain places and do certain things, you come back. And you make sure things is all right. You don't disrespect people's mothers. You don't disrespect your friends that took their money to make sure you was all right when you was wrong, when you was messed up. You don't do that, brother. So by him doing the things that he did and taking the avenue that he took, he's suffering the consequence, and I don't feel bad for him at all. Because people was trying to talk to him. People was trying to tell him. You couldn't pull him by the coat and let him know anything. You understand? They messed up the game, brother. When he put that shit out with them, money, power, respect, it ain't never been like that. It ain't never been like that. You got your respect in the street that gave you your power, that brought you your money. Totally different thing. He let that money, power, and respect go to his head, but he had it ass backwards. So do I care what happened? Nah. He got enough money to buy his way out of this. So we think.
So when you look at that video of him pacing around and he's looking worried, and you knowing him, do you think it's possible that he might commit suicide?
When you're a narcissist, there's always a possibility because you're suffering. But I don't think that he can see himself in a cage. I don't think he can see himself behind those bars in those type of situations. It's too many real dudes that dislike him. But then again, there's a lot of real dudes that need help. And him being behind bars.
In one particularly bold move, Diddy took the feud offline, and into the business world reports surfaced that he had blocked a deal involving 50 Cent's brand move that some saw as petty while others viewed as a masterstroke. Never one to miss an opportunity, 50 quickly turned the story into yet another joke, claiming that Diddy was obsessed with him.
I don't know if it was what they call it when you take two pictures and they put it together and stuff like that. What they call it when they put the pictures together and it don't belong together, but they put it together. Whatever,
side by side.
Yeah, whatever they call that. Cuban Gooden Jr. was so close to that man. I would thought that was his lady. That's how close he was to him, and then his hands all on his leg and everything. It was crazy, bro. I don't even believe that. So when you see Cuban Gooden fighting a case here in New York, when he said the girl was saying that he was groping her and everything like that, I'm glad they didn't show that picture at his trial. Because he would have been guilty. That's how close he was to that kid, man.
So you seeing on pictures, do you believe his claims?
Yeah, I believe his claims. Somebody put something in Cuba Gooding Jr. ear that this was fresh meat, or see, can you break him, or see, can you do something? Because don't no other man be that close to no other man, for that reason. Come on, bro. That's crazy.
Hey, do you know him? Have you ever met him before?
No, I don't think I met him before. Cuba, I can't recall me, no.
Okay. And he also alleges that, Diddy is the one that told him personally that he slept with Usher and Stevie J.
But I mentioned that earlier, that he said about Stevie J. The Usher part, that's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a certain feeling, and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bro, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember, Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up with somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy camp. Y'all put it together.
And what you mean by Diddy camp?
Remember? He was on one of the talk shows, the white guy with the curly hair. What's his name? The white guy with the curly hair. And he said, yo, would you send your son to Diddy camp? And Usher said, no. Ask him why he won't send him to Diddy.